Fun fact, I'm getting a cat soon. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. Hope you're all doing fantastic out there. We got some brand new, interesting Nintendo Switch news, and I want to start off by touching on these GameCube NSO rumors because I think it's really weird. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Thanks for being here. If you're brand new, hello. It's going away soon. The blue, the season's over. The blue it'll be gone. I'm not committed to keeping the blue year round, but it probably will return next season. Anyways, let's kick it off with these GameCube patents that were filed in the UK. A bunch of new patents about the buttons, the layout, the controller shape, all of these things. But the question is, are they really new patents? Now, I've seen a number of videos that have ran with this and articles as well, stating, oh my gosh, Nintendo could be bringing GameCube games to Nintendo Switch Online. And my opinion, my 2 cents, is that I just don't think that's going to happen. Look, Nintendo is very aggressive in keeping their IP, keeping their systems, keeping their controllers, keeping everything on lockdown. It's very likely that these patents are just updates and making sure that they stay locked in on their property. Sometimes we will get a rare brand new patent. In the case of the Star Fox thing I reported on about a week or so ago, where there was a brand new patent for Star Fox that definitely seems like it's leading to an eventual new game. But these GameCube patents to me seem like they are more re-upping. I don't have that like 100% confirmed, but I also just think that Nintendo isn't really likely to move GameCube titles to Nintendo Switch Online. Remember, Nintendo Switch Online is a value add, and they've been dumping a lot of their older catalog, but carefully and calculated. There's still no sign of Pokemon NSO games, right? We have Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, but nothing Pokemon. Are they waiting for a later date? Are they waiting for some big reveal? Or do they just want to hold certain games hostage so that you have to buy new versions like the Let's Go titles, because those are, in effect, remakes of Pokemon Red and Blue. Now, GameCube games have already seen numerous ports to Nintendo Switch, and we're expecting even more in the vein of Zelda Wind Waker, Zelda Twilight Princess, Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3. These games all still are heavily rumored to come to Switch in full versions that you have to buy again. Maybe they have some new content, maybe they have upgraded visuals, but not just given away on Nintendo Switch Online. And look, I know Nintendo has consistently added extra value, especially to the expansion pack tier of their Switch Online service, but I just don't see GameCube games happening. The only way this would happen to me is if it was brought upon by the next Nintendo Switch console. Maybe Nintendo runs out of things to do to add value to online in the next generation, and they want to eventually add GameCube games. But to me, it seems very clear that with Switch One, they are committed to selling you GameCube games. We even have third-party titles like Baten Kaitos 1+2 getting remastered for Nintendo Switch, and we know that Nintendo themselves are bringing Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door remade to Switch later this summer. Do you really think they're going to bring GameCube to NSO and give these games away? I just don't see it happening. The way that they drip feed their older content, they hold NES games hostage. They make sure that they really milk these older systems for all that they're worth. And moving to GameCube when you're trying to sell Luigi's Mansion 2, when you're trying to sell Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. I know Luigi's Mansion 2 is not a GameCube game, but I'm saying they really are taking titles that are old and milking them. And I think that for GameCube, we just aren't at a distance yet that Nintendo feels comfortable with. And I do believe that eventually GameCube could be part of NSO, but it's not going to happen for years. And therefore, I do not think these patents are tied to any exciting upcoming announcement for Switch Online. If anything, I think we get another wave of GBA, N64, things of that sort, perhaps at the next Nintendo Direct, but I would not hold your breath on GameCube. I think you'll be waiting a few years, and based on what I know about lungs, it's not looking good for you. Now, analysts strangely are saying that they don't think it looks so great for Nintendo when they release the Switch 2. And I found this downright fascinating because I've been saying the exact same thing. Now, of course, these are analysts, so by all accounts, they know much more than me, but they are saying right now that Nintendo stock is too high. They've downgraded Nintendo stock to neutral, saying we do not think the new console will be as successful as the Switch and see potential profit taking after the announcement. The share price looks overvalued. We do not see profits during the next generation hardware cycle surpassing peak profits of the Nintendo Switch cycle. And their main justification for this is they believe Nintendo has tapped out the audience. They don't think there's a way to expand the audience beyond what it's at like 130 some million Nintendo Switch, and the Switch 2 can't possibly exceed that. I still say watch out, analysts. I think Nintendo is in a prime spot to continue to leverage their brand and their IP in more exciting ways than they were capable of in 2017. Look at the market for Nintendo right now. In 2017, when the Switch launched, there was no theme park, there was no movie, there was none of that, and it still ended up doing incredibly well, especially coming on the heels of the Wii U, which was an abject failure. Now, you might say, okay, because the Wii U is a failure that gave so much room for growth with Switch, and because the Switch was so successful, maybe they've reached the top of the balloon. But I personally believe this balloon can stretch further, and I'm surprised to see these doubters. Now, they do say if the Nintendo Switch successor does something brand spanking new, that then they would have to reevaluate their forecast. But if it is just a successor, better graphics, better performance, then they don't believe it can exceed the Switch's success. Now, I do firmly believe it's just a successor, but I think that maybe these analysts are undervaluing how much players would appreciate just a successor. If it is a tighter system, a more elevated design, a bigger screen, better controls, way better graphics, significantly improved performance, I think that's enough. And I think they're undervaluing the Switch IP. I believe that they're seeing the success and heights of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and saying, wow, it would be impossible to top that. But can Nintendo top it? You better believe they can. And I feel like based on how they have now unified their handheld and home consoles for the last 7 years, based on how they've built these teams to release stunning, spectacular, evolutionary games in the Mario, Zelda, everything franchises, all it takes is an evolutionary Mario Kart. All it takes is another evolutionary 3D Mario. All it takes is a brand new Zelda, and why can't this sell more? I think Nintendo's marketing and how they make a case for why it's compelling to upgrade to Switch 2 will be huge. And if they can sell it well early on, then I don't see why the Switch 2 can't be more successful. And especially because I believe third parties will support this thing even better. Some third parties did a great job getting on board with the Nintendo Switch this generation, but some were very slow to believe in it, and some decided that they would just sit it out entirely. I don't think that'll be the case. You can't ignore a system when the last one sold 130 million units, and you can't ignore a system when the specs are much more comparable and easier to develop on. I think that these analysts are being cautionary because it was such a big explosion for Nintendo Switch and Nintendo this generation. But if you come in hot with a new 3D Mario, with a new Mario Kart, with a new multiplayer title, with a new Smash Brothers, with a new Animal Crossing, I mean, can you tell me really that the next Animal Crossing isn't going to be more exciting and maybe not spawn the same exact global phenomenon, but still spawn insane sales? Look at how Pal World has sold bajillions of copies right off the bat, being an exciting sort of Pokemon, but not really Pokemon, claiming to be Pokemon, but not really Pokemon game on PC and Xbox. I think the Switch is going to continue to sell super well. I think the IP are stronger than ever before, and I think third parties will only support this in becoming a humongous success. Yeah, they might need one crystal title, like a Wii Sports or like a Breath of the Wild, to really elevate to the same level, but I think Nintendo can do it. I would not count them out yet. This is what the analysts are saying right now, but let's wait until we see the Switch 2, hear about the lineup, and decide for ourselves if it's going to be a market downturn or if they can just keep rising. Speaking of rising, EA likes the odds when Nintendo drops a new console. In fact, they like the odds when any new console drops. And EA's CEO, Andrew Wilson, may not run the most liked company in the world, but he does run a huge gaming company, one that sort of supported Nintendo this generation, but also kept many top-tier franchises back in their safe. So EA's CEO was asked about Nintendo's next system and what he thought about it, what it meant going forward. And of course he said, I can absolutely not comment on anything that has not been announced or acknowledge it in any way. But he did say that new systems are usually very good for EA. And he said that the company's best titles are allowed to expand when you do make changes like improved CPU, GPU, memory, battery life, screen resolution. All things that we expect to improve with Nintendo Switch 2. He said that it's especially beneficial for titles like Madden, Apex Legends, and Battlefield, two of which did not make any sort of debut on Nintendo Switch 1. Now, Apex Legends was on the console, and that's a great job, but Battlefield and Madden did not make it. Madden in particular mysteriously wasn't, even though FIFA and FC made a huge commitment to the platform. I think EA knows that a more powerful Switch and another new cycle allows them to bring bigger franchises to the platform and really try and spread their games, especially because they don't have the greatest record with fans and with positive mindshare. A win would be good for them. He says, so without commenting at all about anything around Nintendo or Switch, I would just say that new platforms are good for us, and when new improvements offer improved power, that is typically a plus for our portfolio of games and the communities that play them. Obviously, Andrew Wilson can't say, I have the Switch 2 in my bedroom, just don't look. But what he can say is that better systems are better for our bigger, better game portfolios. And but again, we're going to start to see this continue to spin up as more and more questions are asked as we wait for the true announcement of Nintendo Switch 2, which should be coming fairly soon. We're approaching February, and March or April seem like the ideal time for Nintendo to drop the big announcement, and then maybe people like Andrew Wilson can start to comment. We know Activision, Microsoft committed to bringing Call of Duty to Switch. It would be great to see a commitment from Wilson and EA committing to bring Battlefield and Madden to Switch, and I fully think it'll happen. Again, that's why I'm just so confident in the Switch 2's performance, and I sort of don't understand the doom and gloom outlook from some of the analysts. I think the Switch 2 is only going to expand the audience, even though that seems unlikely. Nintendo nostalgia will always be there, and you're only going to introduce new fans with new Pokemon, new Mario, new Zelda. But now you can bring in Madden fans too. You can bring in Call of Duty fans. And to me, that seems like the pool can only grow larger. But let me know your take in the comments down below. It's still probably too cold for swimming just yet. But in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. I appreciate you so much. Love you even more. And until next time, thanks again. SwitchForce out.